Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Crypto Currency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a great week. So the market is still providing us with good trading opportunities. We have taken advantage of some based on the forecast that we had in the last week. So if you look at last week's video and how the market played out, you'd see it's about 90% accuracy. But I keep saying that you can get the forecast right almost 90%, but it is the trading execution where it becomes critical. Just focusing the market alone does not mean anything if you cannot execute. Right, so we're going to be looking at how the market played out and what we expect going forward. Right, before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, go to our channel, Trading Waves, and you can click under the description of any of our videos. You'll find our contact details, including the link to our website. So if you go down to our website here, you will find, just not website, the YouTube channel. Under the description, you'll find the link to our website. That is the ElliottWave-principle.com. Now, what you will find on the website, please look out for the chart of the week. We will be looking at this shortly. So our chart of the week was EURAUD. It was posted at Sunday immediately after our webinar. So this is a EURAUD setup from the last week. So if you had come here, this is a free setup for everyone. You would have gotten this trade setup. So almost 400 pips already on EURAUD, a very good trade setup that we got, as we'll go through this shortly and how we got that right. Okay, so look out for our next chart of the week. It will be updated as soon as possible. So that's our website, and if you'd like to get any of our courses, you can go under courses and take the course. The next course starts on the 6th of September. It is a live course, so it's a 10-day course. If you'd like to join us, you can purchase the course. You'll find the recorded version. So that means when you have the live one you already watched, then you can engage for 10 days just to clear out all the modules that you will not have comprehended while watching the course. So let's get started with the trade recap. So how did the market play out last week? So you guys had the EURAUD setup as chart of the week. We took Euro New Zealand in our group. So we've got live trading room Mondays to Fridays in our group every day just before the start of the London session. So let's have a look at what we looked at as far as the trade setups is concerned. Let's start Euro New Zealand. So this was a setup on Euro New Zealand. Let's go full screen here. So this was Euro New Zealand. So we expected Euro New Zealand. It's a similar setup with the EURAUD, really, because they are correlated, EURAUD and Euro New Zealand. So this is what we expected on Euro New Zealand. Right, so how did that play out? Exactly as anticipated. We've got the move here and almost 400 pips up. You will see, we'll go through this in a bit more detail when we start with the market analysis. So this is Euro New Zealand, an inch perfect trade textbook kind of setup, right? So all our traders got this. Let's have a look at the next one is EURCAD. So if you remember EURCAD, we looked for this structure here. Let's have a look here. So EURCAD, we had this structure here, which we looked as a flat correction. So we wanted this to come down, which we already did. And we focused that we're going to get a reversal here and a move to the upside. How did the market play out? Let's have a look here. So this is EURCAD, and this is how the market played out. So this is how the market played out eventually as expected. So we forecasted the risk to reverse here and a move to the downside. Now look what happened. So it does not matter what the fundamental news was. We had the RBA and I think we had the RBNZ rate announcement during the week, but even that did not affect the structure. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. So the next one here is pound. Rather, this is EURAUD. So this is the one from the chart of the week. So this is EURAUD. I hope you can see that clearly. So this is EURAUD, the one that we just spoke about here. Our trade of the week. We expected this to happen. That's already in play. Hope you got that one. Right. So that's how EURAUD played out eventually. Very nice inch perfect trade. So that's how that one played out. Right. So let's have a look here. That was EURCAD, EURAUD. Pound New Zealand. Let's have a look at Pound New Zealand. Similar setup as well, because we've got the New Zealand in it as well. So that was a setup on Pound New Zealand. We expected this to make a push to the upside. How did Pound New Zealand play out? Let's have a look here. Exactly as forecasted. That's how we've got it. We're still forecasting more upside on Pound New Zealand. We'll go in a bit more detail shortly. right? So that's pound, New Zealand, and lastly, AUD New Zealand. Last but not least, AUD New Zealand. So AUD New Zealand, we're simply looking for this flat correction in the 1 hour and for this to continue to the downside. That is in play. We have been selling AUD New Zealand for some time. So that's the structure here. So we had this one here. We had a move here to the downside. What are we expecting here? So I will go in a bit more detail shortly. So we've got that move. Now we've got the pullback here. I'll show you what we're expecting in the next little while. That was AUD New Zealand, Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, we have been focusing this move. So we've been looking for this to make a move to the downside here and then a bounce. How is this playing out so far? Let's have a look at the structure here on Euro Pound. So we've got the move to the downside. We focused the move to the downside and we expected this one to make a bounce here. So I'll go in a bit more detail on Euro Pound because actually we've actually got a very interesting structure on Euro Pound. So let's have a look at how that will play out. So these are the trade recaps. And that's how the market play out in the last week. So let's have a look at how we're forecasting the market in the next coming week. Let's start. Right, so let's switch everything off here. So let's look at the structure. So let's just look at the structure before we look at anything, before we look at the cycle and the sequence. So Euro US dollar, what are we expecting of Euro US dollar? We're looking at this bigger corrective structure. Why have we been looking for this to play out like this? We have been looking for the euro because now I want you to see the bigger structure here. So let's have a look here. Let's go in a bit more detail here. And the reason why we're looking at Euro US dollar the way we are. So we've got a move here in 1, 2, 3, and we're looking at this as a wave 4. And we're looking for this to give us another leg to the upside. So that is our 5 waves here. So we're currently in this structure. Now the question is, are we going to reverse here? Is this the end of the correction? So we're going to be focusing around this area right now. That is 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for this one to be a 4. Are there any signs of reversal as yet? So we'll be looking for clues around our blue box here. So our blue box is already projected around that area. So let's just show it there. So we're expecting these to reverse around 1600. So we're still expecting a bit of a move to the downside here. So we've got a bit of a pullback here. Let's just take this one off here so we can make this a little bit more clearer. Let's zoom in there. So we've got a bit of a pullback here. Is this a reversal? We still expect this to come down into the blue box. That looks like a pullback. We'll expect this one to come down into the blue box. Right, so that is Euro US dollar, and the expectation is that we're going to still push a little bit lower, at least down into the blue box until we see signs of reversals. So that is Euro US dollar. Let's have a look at the DXY. Now the DXY, very interesting because the DXY has reached the blue box. If you saw Euro US dollar, it has not quite reached the blue boxes yet, like this one. So let's have a look here. So the DXY, the dollar index, has made a 3-wave move, and we have just touched the blue box here. Do we get a reversal? But the euro has not reached this level, so we expect that the DXY may make a slight move to the upside, but we're eventually going to expect a reversal and for this to play out this wave 4 as well. Now, just to give you a bit more detail about the wave 4 that we're looking at here, let's have a look here on our charts here. Let's have a look here for members, and we look at the DXY chart so you can see why that is a wave 4. Let's have a look. Right, so this is the DXY. This is the reason why this is a wave 4, 1, 2, 3. We're looking at this as a 4, and for one more move to the downside. So we're currently here completing this move. We are looking for this to come down in here. So that is the structure on the DXY. So let's go down to the lower time frame here and see what has happened. So we have reached the blue box. Reaching the blue box does not mean that it's a reversal. We can still retest the blue box area here like that. So that is the DXY and what we're expecting on the DXY. So pound US dollar, we were expecting upside last week. That did not play out as forecasted. Obviously, we're not going to get everything right. So let's have a look at what we were looking at on pound and what we are now looking at. So we've got the 3-way move to the downside, a 3-way move to the upside. So we were looking at these to have completed all the 3 waves and for this to start a move to the upside. So when we were here last week, we wanted to see a corrective structure and confirmation for more upside so that we can clear that structure. But what we're seeing here on pound, so we may be getting a structure like this, but we'll wait for more data to confirm. So we've got 3 waves to the downside, we've got 3 waves to the upside, and we're looking looking at this one to be 1, 2, and this will be the last wave to the downside. Does that change the structure? That still does not change the structure. It just means we've made a double, and that is a WXY corrective structure. So it will not be surprising to see pound push a little bit lower in the next coming week. Right, so I want to show you an alternative here. So pound US dollar may be, the move to the upside may be completed. We may not get this to the upside, and with that we're going to decide when we get to this level. Okay, so the reason why the move to the upside on pound is done is this. Let me show you the weekly chart and how we'll be looking at this weekly chart on pound. So we've got this structure here, 1, 2, and this could have made an expanding flat. We could be in an expanding flat, and if that is the case, pound can still make a big move to the downside. So be careful at this level. We need to get clear confirmation. We'll wait for more data to execute the trade if that is the end of the move. It's going to be interesting. So let's see how this plays out here. So we may be starting with the move to the downside. We'll wait for trading opportunities around that area. Pound US dollar, that is pound US dollar, US dollar CHF. Let's have a look now. Let's go back down to the lower time frame. Right, so we're looking to take a trade here to the downside on US dollar CHF as follows. So if the move to the downside on the DXY is starting, we expect that the CHF yen, or rather US dollar CHF, will start a move to the downside as follows. We'll at least get a move here, and we'll get a pullback to this level. So we can be getting a move to the downside. So the DXY looks to be starting a move to the downside. If that confirms, our trade now should play to the downside. So we're already in this trade here in our group. So let's have a look here at the rest. US dollar CAD. Now, US dollar CAD has rallied strongly in over the last couple of days. Let's have a look at the structure now. So we have got the 3 waves to the upside as far as US dollar CAD is concerned. This is 1, 2, 3. We've made a pullback here in 3 waves again as well. So 1, 2, 3. This is an impulsive move. I would expect this one to give us a pullback in 3 before we get a move to the upside. And this will be going up in a 3-wave manner. So a WXY corrective structure. As you can see here, we have here as a ABC corrective structure. And this is a ABC internally here. And we're expecting this to be another ABC corrective structure. So a pullback is imminent in the next coming session as far as US dollar yen, or rather as far as US dollar CAD is concerned. We'll expect more upside after the B wave is complete, the B wave in red. Right, so that is US dollar CAD. Audi US dollar has invalidated the move to the upside that we're expecting. Let's go up to the daily here. So the move we're expecting was for this to give us a 3-wave structure here and continue to the upside. That did not play out. So what we'll expect over the next coming sessions, at least wait for a pullback. So that is not going to be a complete reversal. We'll just wait for a 3-wave pullback before continuation to the downside, at least for the short term. Right, so that is Audi US dollar. New Zealand US dollar on the daily as well. We're expecting these to make a 3-wave structure. So this is a 3-wave structure here on the New Zealand. This one is not invalidated as Audi US dollar is. So we can start getting a WXY corrective structure here, a pullback, and we start making at least a 3-wave structure to the upside. That is the move that started. This is a pullback that we're expecting. If this is going to continue to the downside, we should at least get a pullback here in 3 waves. Right, so that is New Zealand. Let's see how the market plays out. US dollar ZAR continues the rally to the upside. That means weakness for the South African rand against the US dollar. That move is in play as expected. We are only at 38% retracement. If we're going to get a pullback here, we should still get a continuation to the upside. And 1650 is very well within reach here as far as US dollar ZAR is concerned. So at least wait for the pullback. Do not go and buy or sell it at current levels. You want to get a clear trading opportunity there. Let's go into the yen pairs, pound yen. Now, pound yen similarly is making a 3-wave structure as well. So we wanted to see, we actually got this one here. This was our blue box area here. So blue, it can be 2 things here in the blue box. You can get a reaction, or you can get an impulsive move from the blue box. What we got here was a reaction in 3. So that's why we looked at this one now to be giving us a 3-wave structure. So this is 1, 2, 3. We should see pound yen make a pullback. Now, pound yen is another one of those that could be making an even bigger move to the upside. For now, we're going to trade short term to the downside here, looking at this as a WXY corrective structure. So a pullback, we should still see more downside here. But again, just to give you a hint on the weekly chart here, this could still be a bigger move to the downside. Again, this is a flat correction. So now you'll see that I'm showing you this. This is over the long term. For the next couple of days, we will be trading this. Now, as I said in the beginning, you may know the direction of the market, but it is the trading execution that is the problem. You will know that this is making a move to the downside. You're not going to take this on the weekly chart. So you're going to take this one wave at a time, and we know exactly when to execute the trades. So you'll find that you know the direction of the market, but you are still not able to take advantage of it. So this is where the strategy comes in. This is where the indicator comes in, and not just the Elliott wave theory alone. You cannot trade the market only just using the structures. These charts are developed, generated by a computer, and you want to analyze this with the naked eye. It just cannot work like that. So let's have a look. So we're looking for downside, at least a bit of a pullback over the next coming session as far as pound yen is concerned. So we can get to this level, we can get a pullback and a continuation to the downside. Wait for a decent 4-hour pullback here. Let's continue with the rest. US dollar yen, expect this structure. We've got a complex B correction here as follows. This is 3 waves to the downside, 3 waves up. We're looking for another 3 waves to the downside. So we've got here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 up, 1, 2. We expect another leg to the downside as far as US dollar yen is concerned. A WXY corrective structure here. So we'll be looking for this to give us clues for more downside. Right, so that's US dollar yen, euro yen. So euro yen continues to the downside again, just like we had it on pound yen. Instead of getting a pulsing move here after the 3 waves, we instead got a reaction. So this, now we have updated the structure. So we'll be looking at this one to just make a bit of a continuation to the downside here. We could be having here a WXY XZ corrective structure, but we are essentially bearish. Now, again, it's another one of those that could be going down for the long term. So let's just keep an eye on this. We'll just keep an eye on this. All right, so that is euro yen. A pullback is imminent. CHF yen. Right, CHF yen is to remember the structure that we're looking at on CHF yen. We've got an impulsive move to the downside. We've got these 3 waves here. We're looking for CHF yen to continue to the downside. Okay, so this could give us a pullback here before continuing lower, or we can get a move straight to the downside. We wait for confirmation around this level. So as you can see, this is a clear ABC corrective structure here. So we'll be looking for entries around this level as far as CHF yen is concerned. CAD yen. No surprises there. We're looking for this to make a continuation to the downside. It's a 3-wave move to the downside here. We've got a 3-wave pullback, so we'll expect this one to continue to the downside. So the pullback will be imminent. 1, 2, 3 here. We've got this one is 1, 2, 3. So we're expecting this one to give us another 3 waves to the downside. So we'll be trending in corrective structure here. So it's a trend, but in corrective structure. So WXY corrective structure. Internally, you've got ABC corrective structure here. If I just go into a bit more detail, ABC structure here, ABC structure here. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at here, a bit of a pullback before continuation to the downside as far as CAD yen is concerned. New Zealand yen, let's have a look at the New Zealand. Similarly, the New Zealand has made a 3-wave pullback here, so we'll expect the New Zealand to continue to the downside over the next coming session. Nothing new there. AUD as well. So AUD, last week we saw this 3 waves here, so expected AUD to come here. There was even a possibility here. The focus that was that this can even make a bounce here before continuation to the downside. So this option has obviously been invalidated, and we're going with this one. We'll look for pullbacks to the downside. Wait for pullbacks, don't go and sell or buy at current levels. Right, let's have a look at gold now. Gold has made a push to the upside with an impulsive move. We're looking at this as a corrective structure here and looking for this one to continue to the upside. If you remember a couple of weeks back on gold, we have a forecast here for these to come around these levels and for this to continue pushing to the upside. What structure are we looking at? We could be getting a structure like this on gold, continuation to the upside, even a retest of the 1900s here as far as gold is concerned. So let's wait for this pullback. It may be a little bit deeper, maybe back to the 38-50% before continuation to the upside. Let's keep an eye on this. That is gold, silver. So silver looking bearish here. We've got a three-wave move to the upside here. We'll expect a bit of a pullback here on silver. So we could be getting a structure like this. So the structure is still very much in the making. So let's wait for this to give us proper structure. So we are essentially going sideways here, no clear direction on silver. So let's wait for it to give us more data. Platinum. So platinum, we've got a move here in 3 waves. We'll expect this one to give us a bounce, at least back to this level, but we should see continuation to the downside. That is platinum. Brent crude oil continues lower. So what we expected of Brent crude is a 3-wave move to the downside here, a pullback in 3 and another 3. Do we see a reversal here on oil? At least we should start seeing a reaction around these levels. Right, so let's go to the pound pairs. Now, this is pound CAD. So I'm just going to go right at the end of the structure here. We've got an impulsive move here. We've got a 3-wave structure here as follows. This is 1, 2, 3. We'll expect this one to give us a pullback. If we retest these levels here, this means that this is still going to be a continuation to the upside, and we're going to have a structure like this. Okay, but we're taking it one wave at a time. For now, we've got a pullback here. We've got a pullback here. So if you get a move to the upside as follows, we'll look to take the trade back to these levels. Again, we wait for the indicator to confirm. We'll be looking for this to continue to the downside around those levels. Right, so that was pound CAD. Pound Audi, one of our trade setups over the last couple of days. So we got pound Audi around these levels. Okay, we've got pound Audi. I think it was 2 weeks ago when we had the RBA rate decision. We were looking for this to continue down here and make a move to the upside. That is now played out, and we are now going to look for a pullback around these levels. That is pound Audi, pound New Zealand. You saw this one during trade recaps. So last week on pound New Zealand, we looked at this as a running flat, and for this to continue to the upside, we've gotten out to this level. We couldn't get a pull back here and continuation to the upside. So let's keep an eye on this. You need a bit more data. You don't want to be buying or selling at these levels, not after such a strong impulsive move. That is pound New Zealand. Pound CHF continues lower. Right, so pound CHF, last week we had this 3-wave pullback here that reversed from the blue box. We focused on the blue box here. We've got a 3-wave continuation pattern here. So that meant that this move to the downside continues because of that continuation pattern there. So let's have a look here. So we've got that as a 3-wave structure, and we'll look for this one to continue lower, okay, over the next coming session. So just to give you a sneak, guys, there are a number of trade setups coming over the next couple of weeks. September is even better. Just to give you one of the interesting moves, pound CHF is one of them. So the move to the downside is only the beginning. We could be getting an even bigger move to the downside. And the nice thing is about this is these moves are only just getting started. I'm just going to show you the 3-wave structure here on pound CHF. Have a look at this. So that is the 3-wave structure on pound CHF. As much as this looks corrective, as far as the indicator is concerned, on the weekly, we are looking for this to continue even lower. So that means this is a corrective structure, and we'll look for more downside. So again, like I said, you may know the direction here, but are you able to take advantage of these moves? So that is where we come in, where we trade one wave at a time. Okay, so that is what we've got on pound CHF, and a lot of the structures are at their weekly reversal areas. So that's why I'm saying September is going to be very interesting. So brace yourselves and trade responsibly. Right, so let's have a look at the 4-hour. That was pound CHF. I think we've gone through all the pound pairs. Let's go to the euros now. Euro pound. I said we're going to go look, we're going to have a look at this one. So euro pound. So this is the structure. This is how I looked at this structure last week on euro pound. So we've got this as a 3-wave structure here as an expanding flat. I've been showing this for weeks. Okay, so we're looking for this to be a 3-wave structure here with a complex. This is a expanding flat there and a move to the downside. What did we look at before? We've been looking at this as an impulse, this as a correction, and for this to come and make a reaction here. We've got our reaction already. We're expecting this to make a push to the upside. As much as we are still bearish, I expect this one to continue a little higher before we push to the downside. That's the structure that we're going to be looking at in the next coming session. So a bit of strength on the euro against the pound here. So look out for this. over the next coming sessions. That's Euro Pound, Euro New Zealand. We've already gone through this one during our trade recaps. That's the setup that we took based on this regular flat here. So we're expecting a continuation to the upside here. So if you look at the bigger structure here on Euro New Zealand, just to see where that comes from, we're looking at this to be a 3-wave structure, this to be a pullback, and for this to give us another 3 waves. So even if we do get a pullback here, we're simply looking at this as a WXY corrective structure, and for this one to give us another ABC corrective structure. Okay, so we've got this one here as a WXY, and similarly you would have ABC here, and this will give us a bigger WXY corrective structure here. That's how we're going to be looking at the market. For now, a pullback to the downside. Right, so that is Euro New Zealand. Looks like we're still setting up for more upside here, correcting for more upside on the New Zealand. So that's the pullback that we're looking for before continuation to the upside. Euro Audi, our trade of the week. I hope you all got that. If you didn't, look out for our next chart of the week on the site. So we had that SN expanding flat, and for this to make a move to the upside, we've got all of that. Let's just check the number of pips there. So when we posted this is what we expected, a continuation to the upside. Clean 450 pips, 1 pair in just a week. So this was a very nice trade setup. So it is still bullish. We don't expect this to reverse at these levels. We should get pullbacks, but you don't want to buy this so expensive. You want it to give you a clear corrective structure, something similar to this. This is where you take advantage. All right, so that is Euro Audi. Let's have a look at the rest. EURCAD. EURCAD, similarly, we have made a structure like this here on EURCAD. These are 3 waves to the upside as far as EURCAD is concerned. This is 3 waves to the downside here. We've made a move now. We are making a reversal at that level. So I'm not going to do it like this because it's going to look funny. So I'm just going to show you here what the structure is supposed to look like. This is what we're expecting. Here we've got 3 waves to the upside here. We've got clean 3 waves here. This is a WXY corrective structure here internally on EURCAD. We've got a pullback here in 3 again. We've essentially just made only a impulsive move here. So that's what we're expecting, at least a 3-wave pullback before we continue to the upside. But again, like I said, I'm just drawing it skew here. So the correct way to draw it will be this, but let's make it like this so you can see what the structure is going to look like. Right, so that's the 3 waves here. So we've got 3 up, 3 down, and 3 up, giving you a overall bigger corrective structure in WXY. That's how we're looking at this. So a pullback. So this pullback is what we're looking at here before another move to the upside. That is EURCAD. EURCHF, one of the interesting ones. I kept saying that I've been saying for weeks that EURCHF, guys, this is long-term downside. Every time you get a pullback, you're looking for downside. So we're still looking for this to continue to the downside. Okay. Next week, I'll probably show you the bigger corrective structure and why we are long-term downside. We're not buying EURCHF anytime soon. Any bounce to the upside is just that, it's a bounce. So we'll look to sell it more. Right, so that's EURCHF. Audi New Zealand, continuation to the downside. So look out for this. Our target on this one is 1.02. So any move to the upside is a continuation pattern. We'll look for this. If this bounces at these levels, we'll look to sell it again and look for this to trade lower to 1.02. Let me just to show the bigger structure and why we're looking for that. Let me just show you a daily structure here. So if you look at this here, as far as the daily structure is concerned, these are 3 waves here. So we're looking for this to come around these levels. So we're still expecting this to get as low as that. Okay, so that will not change the structure. These are 3 waves here, 3 waves to the upside, 1, 2, 3. So this is why I have been saying Audi New Zealand, you keep selling. AUDNZD. So AUDCAD looking for more downside. Has completed these 3. It's actually a 5-wave move here. This is an impulse in the lower degree. So this impulsive move is starting a correction. We should see a reaction here in 3 before continuation to the downside. Wait for that reaction before you take this. AUDCHF, just like the rest of the chief pairs. So the chief has been very strong over the last week. So we've got this as a 3-wave move to the upside. So we're looking for this to actually give us a corrective structure and continue to the upside. But we saw the weakness in the rest of the chief pairs. So now we've got this as an impulse. We're looking for a reaction here. We can even react as far back as 38 or 50% before continuation to the downside. So let's see how that plays out. AUDCHF. I'm on the daily here. If you remember last week, this is what we forecasted here, that we're going to have this as a continuation to the downside. If it was not last week, this would have been the week before, looking for this to continue to the downside. New Zealand CAD. So New Zealand CAD here, we've got this as a move to the downside. This is a move to the downside. It's an orthodox top here. What we're looking for here on New Zealand CAD is a move up here in 3. Okay, is that only just a pullback here as far as New Zealand is concerned? We can get this as a move up here, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up here. So we're getting a pullback here. We may see the New Zealand push to the upside and retest this level here. And the overall structure here will be this. So that is the start of the move. We can get all of that as a structure like that. Let's use the right color. So the right color here would be this. And move back down here and continuation to the upside. But we're not worried about the rest of the forecasted move here. So we take it one move at a time. Currently, we've got this as a pullback, and we'll look for this one to push a little bit higher. That is what we have on New Zealand CAD and New Zealand CHF. Similarly, the CHF pairs have been very strong. Again, this is New Zealand CHF, so we expect this one to continue to the downside. After making this textbook expanding flat here, this is what we got, a move to the downside. We look to take this one even lower. Right, lastly on the Forex pairs, CADJPY, again, another one of the CHF pairs, doing exactly the same thing after the 3-wave pullback on CADJPY. Remember the trade setup that we had on our trade recap? We got this one from the blue box, looking for this to push to the upside, making that 3-wave corrective structure. That is what we saw. This was a trading opportunity of the last week. Now we're making what looks like a reaction. We could be getting a 3-wave pullback here in the next coming session. So we wait for more data around these levels. Right, so still bearish, mostly on the pairs that have got the CHF as the quoted currency. That is CADJPY. Let's have a look at the indices. Has anything changed on the indices? You have seen the structures over the last couple of days, weeks. So we've been showing the structure here. Let's just show one here on the S&P 500. We are still bullish, and we've got 4-hour setups over for the next coming sessions. So we'll still be buying the indices in the next week. Let's have a look here. I'm going to look at 1 or 2 here on the indices. Let's have a look. The S&P 500, let's have a look at the 4-hour. So as you can see, the forecast has always been upside, nothing but upside. That is the structure. You can check out the structure. So every time we get continuation patterns, we look for more upside. We're currently in this purple degree here. We're looking for this to complete 5 waves. So we are currently looking for more upside. The indicator is telling us that we are going to see continuation to the upside. So the sequence and the structure, as well as the indicator, all confirming one thing, that we are going to see more upside in the next coming session as far as the indices are concerned. That is the S&P 500. The Dow Jones will be similar. It's just a 3-wave pullback. This one a bit deeper, but this is 3 waves. These are 3 waves. So we're looking for this one to make a continuation pattern and more upside again. Right, so that is the Dow, and let's go straight to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ, a very clean 3-wave structure. We've got this as a running flat. Actually, it's 3 waves down, 3 waves to the upside, and 3 waves to the downside. A running flat, nice running flat here. We're looking for this to make a move to the upside here. We've got a 4-hour confirmation from the indicator that this is going to push to the upside over the next coming week. All right, so those are the Forex pairs. So we still have the UK 100. So the UK 100, this looks like also another 3-wave structure, 1, 2, 3. We should at least see a reaction in 3. These are 3 waves here in the lower degree. We'll expect to see another 3 waves, at least a structure like this, for this to show us continuation to the downside. So let's wait for more data to build around the current levels to see if we're going to have a structure like this on the UK 100. Right, the DAX. Okay. Again, another one of the indices that are looking bullish, 3 waves to the downside. We're looking for this to continue to the upside. Wait for confirmation, guys, but it's all looking pretty much bullish all around as far as the DAX is concerned. Right, in the Nikkei, let's show you the structure on the side here for the Nikkei. Let's have a look. So the Nikkei, We have been looking for this structure to confirm here. If you look at this here, we look for this one to continue to the upside, but we've got one more down here and then upside. We've updated this last week. You saw this during the webinar that we're expecting that one leg lower back to the lower boundary of the channel and then upside. So we've got that move to the downside. We now get a reaction to the upside in the Nikkei. So that's what we're going to be looking out for in the next trading session. That is the Nikkei. So we are right down at the lower boundary. The Nifty. The Nifty is making a pullback. This is still bullish though. So the pullback here is only a three-wave move. So we're looking for this one to give us a three-wave pullback and continuation to the upside. That is the Nifty. And that's all I have for you this week, guys. If you want the Forex and cryptocurrency webinar, just look out for it on the channel. It will be coming up shortly. Have a great trading week. Trade responsibly. If you like what we do, please drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss another upload from us. Have a great week. Cheers. Bye-bye.